Hi there. Hope you're having a great morning or afternoon, evening, whatever time it is where you are. Today we're going to be working some more squares. It's Sunday, so we're going to do Mikael, some solar squares. See, I recommend that you get a file folder or a big envelope or something so you can keep all your squares in it so they don't get all ripped up too much. And then you can print out your master if you want as well. So the sun is 6 by 6, so it's one of the hefty squares. So let's see. Since the 6 times 6 is 36, we know that it's going to be a little bigger than the alphabet. So we can, if we want to, we can make a 3 by 3, or we can leave it at 6 by 6. The bigger squares are a little easier to work with, up to a point. So that's really a judgment call at this point. Let's go ahead and make, I don't know. I don't know if we want big ones or not. Yeah, let's just make let's make some smaller squares. Let's go for the lower harmonic, the first lower harmonic. And you don't have to limit this to just one. I mean, you can do as many squares as you want, and some of these you might want to have different sizes. Depends on what you want. So I always add an inch to what my paper size is going to be. I add an inch to what the square size is going to be. So if I want a 3-inch square, I'm going to make a 4-inch square of paper. And we always need two. We want 2 squares. I mean, you don't have to. It's just I like one the numeric square and one with the alphabet on it. That's how I like it, and that's what I'm gonna do. All right, pretty easy. These squares are fairly easy to do. A little time consuming is all, but there's not too much complicated stuff involved, so you can usually work in your color rather than in pencil, then drawing over on it. So I think we'll do that. So these are smaller than what the Saturn squares were. The Saturn squares we wanted to make bigger just because they had to share so many cells. You know, there were 3 letters to a cell. This one, there's no shared cells, so I think this is going to be just fine. So let's just make both of our grids. Remember how we do that? Oh my, what did I just drop? I have no idea what just fell. Oh, my pencil and my lighter. Sorry, guys. Oh, too many things over here. Okay, so what we do, since we've made it an inch larger than our square, then we just measure off a 1/2 inch all the way around to give ourselves a nice little border. And again, that's totally optional. I think it highlights the square better if there's some sort of a border. But I mean, some people like their squares to go right to the end of the paper, and that's fine if you want to do that. It's not going to change anything as far as effectiveness. That's not quite, yeah, that's all right. Because although the squares they can serve as their own talisman, and some people do that. They'll make a square and use it as a specific talisman for a specific purpose. You can do that, and then some people on the back of it, they'll write their desire. I don't like writing on the back of talismans because the way that we use them is as broadcasting devices into our deep mind, and therefore we like the talisman to be face up. And so if you're writing on the back, there's always something that's face down, and it just seems to stop that broadcast. At least in my experience and the experience of the other people that work the talismanic arts the way I teach them. Now, when you're putting stuff on the back in another system, it may be just totally different. I don't know. I just don't like it. I like leaving the back blank. Or if you want to put something on the back, that's fine, but recognize that it's not going to, you don't want to do that to broadcast anything. You're just doing it just to label it or whatever. And again, you can do whatever you want. There's no dogma here. No dogma. There's not even any catma. That was pretty bad. Okay, so every half inch, remember, since we were doing a harmonic, if you're using inches, if the total square size is half, then you use half an inch. If the total square size is the full number in inches of the number in question, then you use 1 inch size cells. If you double it, then you use 2 inches. You'll never have 1.5 inches though, right? So a harmonic is either so if you're going down, you take the total number in question. So if the base number is 6, like in here, we want to go down, we do 1/2. So that's the first harmonic down is 3. Now, if we want to go smaller than that, then we have to take that harmonic and put it and divide it by 2. So the second harmonic down for 6 is 1.5, right? And then the next harmonic down from that is 0.75 on to infinity. And so if you're doing jewelry and things like that, you can make it real small if you want to keep those harmonics. Conversely, if you're going to the larger harmonic, the base being 6 in this case, the first harmonic larger would be 12. And then the next harmonic up from that would be doubling the first harmonic. So then that would be 24. Right? So you jump right up. So you can't get into a harmonic there's no such thing as a harmonic between there. So if it's either 12 or 24, you're not going to have any of those measurements in the middle between those two. That is it. So hopefully that makes sense. And again, this mostly, we don't really use harmonics for anything other than measurement that I can think of. I might eat my words because I forgot of something, but I only use harmonic for measurements that I can think of. I don't remember any other reason for using a harmonic, because you don't want to, because otherwise you're starting to borrow numbers from other spheres and things like that. It's really just to keep the integrity of the number while changing the size of some sort of thing, but whether it be a magic circle on the floor or a talisman or an amulet or something like that. It's usually the only reason you'll use harmonics. Did I? Okay, this is gonna be fine. I'm a little off here for some reason. Probably why everybody knows, because he's talking. When I work by myself, believe it or not, I don't talk. You'd think I would. You'd think I'd be a self-talker. And I do a little bit, just to keep myself focused, but I don't sit and chat like this when I'm working by myself. So I don't make the same kinds of mistakes that I do. I still make them, but not the same kinds of mistakes that I do when I'm being chit-chatty. But see how these grids are so simple. It's not like it's complicated. It's just a little time consuming, that's all. Anybody can do this. This is not intimidating. If you're intimidated by that's not the best grid, but it will work. Mikael will not say, no, sorry, not gonna do it. Your grid is a little off. He's not gonna do that. We are doing our best. All right, let's sharpen this up. And we'll just take our master and we're gonna go, just don't do it in order. There's too many here, it's too easy to make mistakes. All you're gonna do is copy from here to there, okay? We're not trying to invoke Mikael, we're just trying to make the square. So you just do it left to right, right to left, up to down, whatever you want, but in an orderly fashion so that it doesn't, so that you're less inclined to make errors. Okay. So and remember, you can download these from the Facebook group, so you'll know what to do. Okay, so now we are wanting to make the alphabet square. So I need to get my alphabet chart, A through Z, and gave each letter its very own number, 1 through 26. We're not reducing any numbers. The only time we'll reduce numbers is if we have a square that has a total number of cells less than 26. In that case, like in this case, it was Mercury. So J through Z, I don't know why I have two, J through Z all had to share a cell, and so then we reduced each one of those, and you see how we do that. J here is 10, and so 1 plus 0 is 1. K is 11, 1 plus 1 is 2. L is 12, 1 plus 2 is 3. So when we want to reduce them, that's how we do it. Now you see a lot of people that work with sigil magic and things like that with these magic squares, they reduce the entire alphabet 1 through 9. We don't do that. We want to make sure that we utilize each and every number of the square if possible. Okay, now since, oh, this is a lot of talking, but I want to get through this just to make sure that you understand it. Since there's more than 26 squares in here and there's only 26 letters, once I find where each letter sits by using these numbers as my guide, once I find out where they sit, so here's number 1 on this top right corner, 1 corresponds with A, right? So the letter A is going to go there. B is here, down here. This bottom right to the right here, there's 2. So then I would put B here, and so on and so on and so on. Once I get to Z, since there's only 26 letters, but there's going to be 10 squares extra in here, leave those blank. Just leave them blank, okay? So here we go. So A is 1, B is 2. See how that works? C is 3. So that's C is 3 is 1, 2, 3. The third row, third column over. 1, 2, 3. There's C. D is 4. Here it is. It is right next to B. E is 5. And we just keep going. F is 6. And then I just check on my chart to make sure I'm right every so often. I have it over here. 6. G is 7. Now I could just do this for you and upload each square so that you could see, so that you can just copy them over, but I would rather you do it yourself because it's a good exercise to get you in tune with the alphabet and then on each square. I could also make you do these formulas for each of the squares, but I know that that's not necessary because that math has been done for us, and these squares are available online. The letters are not as available, so I'd rather you do them yourself if possible. See there? So we have all the alphabet, and each letter corresponds to its number on the square, and then every square that has a value over 26, we're just leaving blank, okay? And we'll use this for dialing up our purposes, either just on the square or later when we start sigil magic. It's a lot easier than using only the the numeric square, which you can still do if you'd like. All right, so I'm going to just get a nice ultramarine crayon, and I'm going to color in all these panels. And like I've said many times before, you could use its sephirotic god name on each of these panels instead, but I'm going for a little bit more basic and simple right now. And when I say sephirotic god name, I mean just the god name. If you look up on the correspondences of the Kabbalah, the god name for sphere number 6, which is the sphere of Mikael. Right, so here we go. There's our 2 squares, and we will use these to help us charge our talisman that we're working on today. And we just keep these. You don't destroy them. You don't have to even consecrate them or charge them, because they're really working piece. We use them to make other talismans usually, but you can, if you desire, you may charge them and consecrate them. Absolutely. All right, and they will become charged and consecrated with use over time as well. But we're ready to use them, and we're gonna make a talisman of Mikael next. So we'll hopefully see you over in that video. Blessed be.